Hopefully anybody can hear me okay, if there is anybody here. Let's see, I'm getting some sound waves on the little preview theme. That's good. Let's see. Oh, and Grant's here. Okay. Hello, Grant. Yeah, please let me know if you can hear me okay. If you can hear me okay, I'm going to get started. Grant says, I'm sorry, I fell asleep during the UU Hawker show stream. Don't worry about it. Would have preferred it if you didn't, but that didn't really go as planned. Okay. So, yeah, Sam is not, he's back in Florida. It's just me at the moment. Alright, sorry about that. Grant says he was exhausted that night. You know, it didn't go as planned. It was really nutty. If you've seen the restream. Also, I'm on the wrong microphone. A little bit clearer, a little bit less internal. Okay, so we're just gonna do a new file, Mega Man 8. I'm not sure why. I just don't think I played this collection enough. I don't remember if I've done this on stream. I think I might have. But we're just gonna start a new file. And I won't skip the cutscenes. I'll play it for you guys' benefit. They look great, just the voice. Granted, now you don't sound like you're recording in a can of Chef Boyardee. Yeah, before I was using my internal microphone. A tad louder on your end, though. I moved the microphone closer. Yeah, so what was I saying before? No, I'll let the cutscene play out.
for this insult. I'll be back.
Dr. Light, what is the problem?
A strange meteor has fallen to Earth just a while ago. This meteor seems to be emitting a powerful energy signature. Something this powerful must not fall into the hands of evil.
I understand, Dr. Light. I'm on it.
Thank you, Mega Man. If you can, please bring the meteor back.
Okay. Ready.
Yeah, I just wanted to stay silent during all that. It's, it has to be seen to be believed. This is looking a bit odd on my end. The preview window it's displaying very strangely. No, it's looking a bit scrambled for me. Is it looking alright for you guys? Because on the preview window, the colors are all out of whack. Well, let's see, the stream looks fine, but on my actual computer, it looks like Missing No took over my Xbox. Well, actually, this is not my Xbox. I'm borrowing it for it at the moment. Okay. Grant was saying a tad louder. I was making the game volume a little bit louder, and I put my microphone on back. Fine. Bradley says that he's here, and that it's how exciting. Not nearly as exciting as next week, I assure you. I take that as sarcasm. Now, when I wasn't doing coursework today, I was practicing with my new arcade stick that Sam got me for my birthday. And I'm a little bit tempted to do the dash motion in a fighting game. I'm going from a 2D fighter to a 2D platformer. I need to correct myself not to do that, because in the Mega Man X games, you can double tap to dash, but in the classic Mega Man games, Mega Man doesn't dash, he slides. Like Kirby. You have to think like Kirby. There's a way you can compare Mega Man to Kirby. I mean, they both slide and they both absorb their bad guys' powers. Mega Man, can you hear me? I've searched the island, but I can't find it on any map. It's a creepy island. Be careful, Mega Man. Your new weapon is ready. Take it with you. Okay, I can't keep this up. It's the Mega Ball. Yeah. Jeez, my microphone's on max. Sorry about that. I'm having a hard time with the balance. It's either the game volume or me speaking. I'm not sure. Is that fine, Grant? I hope that's better. Grant, is that better? I certainly hope so. Wish people would speak. Yeah, guys, is that better? Grant says, volume was good before, I just need to use your stage voice. Really? That sounds really sarcastic. I hope this is alright. I'm not that far away. I'm about a fist length away from my microphone, and yeah, I'm not speaking whispery. My levels are on max. I'm not sure what to say. How about if I try? Is this a little bit better? Raise the threshold a little bit. Hopefully that's better. Granny says, I feel like an honorary Jing. I hope he's listening to this. But he's serious. Alright. I hope that's better. Here we go? Yeah? This is very frustrating. I'm hoping this is better. I'm not sure what to say. Anyway, we're almost done with this level. Grant says, when Jing isn't here to criticize sound levels, I'll do it for him. Much better. Okay. I raised the threshold a little bit, so hopefully that's fine. So I forgot the name of this boss, but it's not very difficult, and fortunately we have a soccer ball to deal with it. No, we have 3 people in here. Anybody have any experiences with Mega Man 8? I want to say that reception is mixed. Positive. This is not a game I played at the time. I wouldn't discover it until later. And the thing with Mega Man 8 for me is that I imagine that if I had this as a kid, and if I had a PS1 as a kid, I probably would have, or if I was going to go into the PS1 era, I probably was definitely a Nintendo kid. And, you know, just going from Nintendo to PlayStation, that would have frustrated me. Grant says that he wished this game's character design got more love than it did. I certainly like the production art for the game. The graphics, the in-game graphics, my issue is that it's a little bit... the character and squishy, which was silly because they're all robots. Grant says that he was never able to beat this on Mega Man Anniversary Collection for GameCube, but now that he thinks of it, he couldn't beat 7 either. 7, I mean, I take for granted the fact that I've been playing that game for a long time. I think the first time around, Wily's stages are pretty brutal in 7. These days, I mostly have trouble with the final boss. But then for the recent reviews and streams I've done on Mega Man 7, I didn't struggle with them very much. So let's see. When I do this game, usually I start off with Grenade Man or Tengu Man first. Mega Man 8 is different from the classic Mega Man games in that instead of laying out the 8 robot masters. You do 4, and then you unlock another 4 after you do a mid-boss stage. And Mega Man 8 is also, as you can see by the level select map here, it's a globe-trotting adventure, because Tengu Man stage is in Japan, Clown Man's in Australia, Grenade Man's in South America, looks like Chile, and Frost Man has to be in Alaska, or possibly the Yukon Territory from the looks of it. And we see that Dr. Light's lab is somewhere in Middle America, and the opening stage was probably Hawaii. Sam wants to know if I can turn up the volume of the game a little bit, but hopefully people will still be able to hear me. Also, it's good to hear from you, Sam. Rally says Mega Man the World Warrior. This game is very multicultural. We'll go to the other half of the world in the later portions. Now Grenade Man stage. Sam says I sound perfect. Thank you very much, Sam. And I really wish you were still here, and that we could have done another stream before you left us. But I'm glad your spirit's here. Sam says he wants a little more game sound. I'll adjust it a little bit. Is that a better balance, Sam? Grant says Tengu and Frost are the only original characters on the screen. I don't know what you mean by that, Grant. Yeah, here's something neat about this game I'd like to show off before I forget. I'm also getting my ass kicked here. Because this predates Mega Man 7 by a few months, this is the first time that you can use your Buster and one of your master weapons at the same time. That is if you consider the Mega Ball a master weapon. You get the Mega Ball in the opening stage, so I'm not sure if that qualifies. It's a special weapon. That's all that really matters. Sam says the audio is so clean for the Samson. Excellent sound. That's exactly what I want to hear. Thanks guys for getting on my case about the audio, because I want these streams to be audible. If I had a partnership with Audible.com, that would have been a really good time to drop an advertisement. But yeah, I appreciate it. I'm not an island. We were on an island in the first stage. So Sam, Grant says perfect sound all around. Excellent, excellent. Crap. Sam says new art book on Audible. I don't know how you can have an audiobook version of an art book. Not audio, but it's a book. Typing code software agents. Oh, I get it. You're for me to read. New art book on audio. Not audio, but it's a book. Typing code software agents. It's a deal either way. Okay, let's get back to Mega Man. So we're raiding a Chilean weapons factory. No two ways to put it. And Sam is making cheeky faces. It's like the part of Mary Poppins when she says cheeky. Mary Poppins, y'all. So there to complement the theme of the stage, Sniper Joe is using a grenade. It's the sound of the page. That sounds like the worst audiobook imaginable. Bradley says he's fond of the detonating platforms. They're definitely memorable. Now we get the mini boss. I don't remember this guy's name. You think I would, but after a while they together for me. And if anybody's read any of the art books for Mega Man games that tell the names of the enemies, they're absolutely ridiculous. Like, I know many of them from Mega Man X without thinking about it, because that's my favorite game, and I spent a lot of time reading the manuals and the guides. And those sub-bosses all have insane names. Just going by Mega Man conventions, I mean, this thing could be called, like, Crush Geyser G or something like that. It's really odd. I sometimes I wonder if the staff, if they think about, is this pronounceable or what they're going for. The names are always very strange. I got a comment here. Bradley says, with the release of the Street Fighter collection, which I own, and I could show you guys sometime, and now this Mega Man collection, it makes me realize how much I like the borders they put up for these collections. I actually don't like them very much, but I can't put them in the Legacy collection, but two, I mean, if you guys like them, whatever. I'm not a fan of filling out the screen for the sake of it, but people tend to complain when there's black spots in their HD TVs. So that's the compromise. In any case, I generally don't like these borders. This one does a nice job showing off the art in the game. Okay, so I beat the sub-boss and I get one of the rush power-ups. I don't remember which one exactly. Let me check here which one it was. Rush Cycle. This power is neat, but it's also, I find it kind of useless. I might be able to show that off later. Sam says the hotel Wi-Fi is bugging me. Hotel Dusk? If you were staying in Hotel Dusk, there would be no Wi-Fi, because that game takes place in 1978. Or was it 79? Let's see. Grant says its name is Thelonious Monk Kaiser Salutern. Yeah, that's exactly kind of the insane names that the Mega Man enemies and sub-bosses have. Like, one of the sub-bosses in Mega Man X3, which I really need to beat and stream one of these days, I got stuck on one stage, which is frustrating because I've beaten that game several times, but in stream, not so much. Okay, so one of the sub-bosses in that game is called God Car Machine Oinari. That is a terrible name. What were they thinking? I'm not kidding either. God Car Machine. It sounds like a robotic Irishman. It's horrible. Alright, well that made that kind of pointless. You can see here that despite this being a 32-bit game, there's still some silly respawning. Sam says next Thursday he's going to film some competitive fight game casuals with a school camera. Sounds cool. I was actually checking up on your book about photography today, while I was working on my online class in between lunch and doing all that. Can I make it? No, oh well. At least I got the bolt. Grant suggests another name for a Mega Man. Engelbert Humperdinck Gaiden. That sounds like a video game, not a person. Let me zoom in a little bit because I have. Oh no, that's not good. I think that's game over. Oh well. The thing is, in Mega Man 8, stages are divided into 2 parts. So I'm gonna respawn at the midway point of the stage. That was kind of a blessing in disguise because I got to show off a feature of the game. So it's really hard for me to rank Mega Man games on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm not sure where I would rank this one, but I would say the thing is about classic Mega Man, I don't dislike any of the games, except for Mega Man and Bass. That game is really obnoxious. And one of these days, I'm going to show you guys why it's obnoxious. I keep missing the timing with this hammer. Sam says he's probably gonna have to go because the Wi-Fi doesn't work. Oh crap. Oh crap to my explosion and you leaving. Okay, well, if you could throw the link around, I'd appreciate it. I'm sorry you have to go, but I'm glad you could pop in. There'll be other streams. There's probably gonna be one Saturday and Sunday. And or Sunday. The link for the stream, Sam. Grant says Engelbert Humperdinck is a real person. I've looked through enough thrift store vinyls to verify that he's indeed real. Well, I can't argue with that level of research. Sam says, "K, bye, bye, Sam. We'll see you on the dark side of the moon." Now, here comes the part where I'm going to shut up and focus on the game a little bit. Because despite doing this for almost 30 minutes, I've only beaten one stage. Oh, that's awful. No. I gotta be frank, this is not my best showing of this game. Usually I play it a lot better. I almost died there. So when I talk to people about Mega Man, I'd say for the most part the reception's pretty good. People I know, that's game over. People I know who have childhood memories of it, it's generally, you know, it's one of the first PlayStation games I got, or one of the earlier PlayStation games. There's a decent number of people I know who either this or Mega Man X4 was their first Mega Man game. So that jumping from one console to another is kind of a double-edged sword, because for some people it's their first experience with Mega Man. Nintendo, or if you were a Nintendo fan at the time, uh-oh, I gotta buy a new console. If you were a Nintendo player, rather. If you were a Nintendo player and a Mega Man fan. Grant says, speaking of Dark Side, I decided to listen to The Wall for the first time in a while earlier this week. That's funny, I was listening to the live version a few days ago. And speaking of Pink Floyd, on Saturday I re-listened to the Final Cut. And I was listening to the Division Bell a few days ago. Yeah, maybe some of you guys might have saw this on Facebook. Richard Wright, his second solo album, I highly recommend it if you like chirpy ambient stuff. That one is kind of centered around the theme of clinical depression, and it's actually kind of weirdly uplifting. Richard Wright was, of course, Pink Floyd, primarily their keyboardist. He did plenty of other things, but that's what he was best known for doing. Finally, yeah, I start winning when I talk about Pink Floyd. Okay, we're finally at the boss, Grenade Man. I used to think he was pretty tough when I was younger. He's not too bad. You just gotta watch out for his attacks. I guess that kind of goes without saying.
I'll be nice on you.
Also, his death quote is one of the funniest things ever. That felt good. Hilarious. He might be the only Robot Master who is openly masochistic. Brand says, I don't know what to think of it because I think the album has arguably some of Pink Floyd's very best songs on it. I find the faux opera aspect of the album obnoxious and purposefully grating. I could kind of understand that. I think The Wall is very good. It's not my favorite, but I think it's very good. Some things about the Wall, if I were to critique it, besides it being like I don't know if I want to say semi-autobiographical, because the concepts of it come from Roger Waters and Syd Barrett, but it's not a biography of Roger Waters or Syd Barrett. It's just Roger was writing on his experiences and some of the stuff that happened to Barrett. There's that, and there's him commenting on disco music and arena rock, because the first song, In the Flesh, with a question mark, Roger, when he was composing it, he said that song was him commenting on his dislike of arena music. Grant says he sounds like Bobcat Goldthwait. Is that are you talking about Roger Waters? Okay, I'm gonna do Frostman stage next. Okay, yeah. Frostman is the first boarding section of the game. Later returns in Wily 1. And I know some people who find these sections frustrating. They're definitely a little bit tricky. I definitely like the music in the stage. It sounds very, wait for it, chill. And the definitely reminds me of Mega Man X1 a little bit. Just the architecture of the background and foreground sprites. To me, it feels like a mashup of the Highway stage and Chill Penguin stage. Rally says chill like Penguin. He gets it. Grant is comparing Grenade Man to Bobcat Is it Goldwait or Goldwith? When I was in high school, I never knew how to pronounce his name, so I just called him Bobcat Goldwith. But as I get older, I think just saying whatever as a secondhand for intentionally not understanding something is too obvious of a joke. So obvious of a joke that it's not funny. Okay, here comes the snowboarding. Oh yeah, what was we were talking about the wall. I'm gonna do that before I do the snowboarding, because that's gonna require a lot of concentration. So with the wall, besides coming from disillusions with the music industry and commenting on his dislike of disco and arena rock, the other thing about the wall that Roger was going for is that he wanted it to be a movie, an album, and a stage show at the same time. But the release of the movie got delayed, and the movie has a very troubled production. And the stage show was initially a failure. Floyd only performed it live a few times in the 80s, and they lost money on it. When Roger did not bring back the wall until he won. And that made him very, very wealthy. So you could think of the Wall album. It was almost like a soundtrack album for a Broadway show, but there was a lot of technical limitations. And when I listened to the Wall, I actually listened to the live version, which is called "Is There Anybody Out There?" Because I find the original version of the Wall to be a very compromised album. Many of the songs were shortened, and there are all these little tweaks there that I think make it not as good as it's supposed to be. Another thing that can be a bit much is that I don't know what's it with rock opera, and there always has to be something about fascism in rock opera. Always. Like in Tommy by the Who. Who the hell is texting me? I'm trying to snowboard here. This better be important. Alright, I'm gonna turn this off. This is one of my friends from high school being obnoxious. Okay. But yeah, I'm always willing to talk about Pink Floyd. Crap. Well, at least I wasn't snowboarding for real.
Ready.
So, something that prepared for me for these snowboarding stages when I was younger. When I was a little kid, I really liked the game Pitfall: The Mayan Adventure. And there's one level in that game called... It has two names. It's either called Blancanche Mine or Minecart. I guess it depends on the version. And I played that on PC, Super Nintendo, and Sega Genesis. And I had a stage very similar to this. And I guess if it weren't for that, I don't think I would have been prepared for this. Because that stage is very similar to this. And you cannot get hit once. You have to memorize it. So I guess we could say it's similar to that or the Donkey Kong Country mindset. In that you have to just memorize the rhythm of the entire stage layout by muscle memory, more or less. And some parts here are very tricky. You can take damage from the enemies, but the spikes, the walls, and the chasms will kill you. There we go. Oh, oh. And I was almost done too. Damn it.
Ready.
Oh, and the other fun part with these bits, there's no checkpoints. But much like the turbo tunnel in Battletoads, I don't think those would help you. I see a message, I'll check it when I get some ground time. I'm thinking about keeping this going for another hour. Would you guys be okay with that? And here's one of, I mean, I don't know how much I want to openly talk about my shortcomings. Some of you closer to me might know that I've had a lot of bigger plans for software agents than a lot of the times have always ended up happening. A review of Mega Man 8 is something I planned about 3 or 4 years ago. And for one reason or other, For one reason or another, it just didn't happen. But that's always an idea I could go back to.
Ready.
I think I have about 2 or 3 different script drafts written of that. Yeah, thanks for tolerating this unbelievably crappy playing. Let's see. Grant says, maybe I'm a little harsh on the album, but for everything The Wall does right, I think Darkside does better in almost every respect. I mean, Darkside is considered an absolute classic, and I think The Wall is too in some respects. But as I mentioned, if I'm gonna listen to it these days, I listen to Is There Anybody Out There? The Wall would also be Floyd's last hit for a while, because nobody cared about the final cut, except for the very few people that did. But A Momentary Lapse of Reason was pretty popular. Sure. Rally's like another hour. What I would ideally like to do is try and finish at least a third of the game. Okay, yeah, so I think I was talking about just reviews that didn't happen for whatever reason. That's something I would like to do. One thing I would really like to do is review all the classic Mega Man games and the main Mega Man X game. There we go. Nice. That's how it's supposed to look. And then, yeah, this transition, I've always liked it. If anybody's followed Capcom's arcade games, or I guess some of their other games that spread art, I think there's something very classically, quintessentially Capcom about that background. It reminds me of some of the stages in Pocket Fighter and Street Fighter Alpha. But then you wonder some things, like why is the electric billboard in the background? Why is it showing a Met? I just don't understand that. Did Wily take over the city? I don't get it. I think there's a way to jump cancel to get that bolt, but I don't remember how to do it off the top of my head. Oh no. Well, that serves me right for backtracking.
Ready.
Okay, I got a notification here that there's a bandwidth issue. Is the stream looking okay for everybody? Grant says the Met Opera House. That sounds like a disaster. Which reminds me, I still haven't seen The Disaster Artist, and I need to, because some of you have been asking me my opinion on that. I've reread The Disaster Artist lately. Raleigh says no problems with him. That's what I want to hear, but may not always be the case. It's either that or Rush Cycle. Maybe I need to defeat the whale robot and try the Rush Cycle. This might actually be a good time to just try it out for the hell of it. So instead of just doing the Rush Coil, they decided to give Rush a bunch of power-ups in this one. And this one is a little bit more gimmicky than you might think, but I mean, oh! That was stupid. At least I'm right on the checkpoint, though. I still think it looks cool, though. That's why you wear a helmet when riding a motorcycle. Let's try not to die that time. Oh, that was so bad. No, that's not what I'm trying to do. Yeah, this is a power-up that you don't necessarily need to beat the game. It mostly seems to be there for the cool factor, really. Oh, give me a... damn it. You can't turn around in the air. That's bad. Okay, I think I remember what I'm supposed to do now. I don't think he can turn around in the air. That's why I'm making those idiotic mistakes. Which is very Castlevania 1-like. Grant says, I always hate how the Rush items make this big long deal about him showing up instead of getting right to the point. It does stall a bit. Like right there, it screwed me because the motorcycle didn't appear and it despawned him off screen. Okay, yeah, I'm pressing left on the D-pad. You cannot change direction in midair. There we go. That's what I was trying to do, guys. That's part of the reason I was making those idiotic jumps earlier. Okay, and let's pop a wheelie. There we go. Beautiful. Cool. Grant says, I don't need to see Rush biting his stitches off. I need to use his spine as transportation. Referring to somebody's stitches being bit off makes me think of a Saw movie. That's gross. I'll save some of that for later. Or not. I can just do this, really. Okay, that health got stuck there. That's lame. It just sounds like a Saw movie. Okay, so these jerks sending out the smoke signals, they're gonna be a nuisance very soon. So So I'll give the game props for some nice foreshadowing. By the way, Grant, I don't want to get too personal here. I hope you're doing all right with your job. I know that sometimes they've had you not see the streams, and it's good that when I'm able to see you. I try to do these at this time so that you're able to see them. It's just not everything in my life, crap, times out the way I want it to.
Jump, jump. Ready.
Okay, my goal is going to be to complete these 4 Robot Master stages. I think it's doable. Alright, there's the smoke signal, guys. Jerks. And that's it. Yeah. Grant says bad dog. I don't know what that's in reference to. Is Rush the bad dog? Okay, here's Frostman.
Freeze! I'll crush you. I will beat
Grant says he was able to find a new job with the exact same benefits and it was so much better. That's great. I need to quit what I do now, because what I do is bullshit. And when I came back on Tuesday, I felt like my entire body took a dump. And not in a good way. And that's all you gotta do to Frostman. He's not very intelligent, in many ways. The group that got me the last job was able to find me another job, and since they're technically the employer, same benefits as before. That sounds really ideal. Good for you. Alright, I'm gonna exchange some of these bolts.
Welcome back.
So in this game, those big bolts that you find in stages in certain parts, they can be exchanged into ways to permanently upgrade Mega Man. So what I normally get is the laser shot first. And then the shooting part's helpful because it lets you shoot 5 bullets on screen at once. So that and the step booster are good. Grant says those robots with the purple vape clouds. Don't encourage people.
Good luck, Mega Man.
Okay, so next I'll do Tenga Man stage. And yeah, I just gotta say, what I like about this game is that they do a good job making the stages feel distinct. And even though we're revisiting a lot of ideas with these Robot Master weapons, nothing feels stale. I like the NES games a lot, and I think Mega Man 6 is really underrated. But I think at that point, all the Robot Masters, they felt really tired. Like, just something about Blizzard Man and Windman, I am not too crazy about their designs or their powers. But here, the powers are all kick-ass pretty consistently. Alright, can I get up there? There might be a way to get up there later. So this stage is like a classic shoot 'em up like Gradius or R-Type, eventually. And Mega Man's friends become power-ups. It's really cool. Yeah, this and being blown in the wind. It's a bit odd, but it's neat. I think that just about sums up this game, really. They have enough new ideas to make things feel different, but it still very much feels like a Mega Man game. And I think that's just what you'd want out of a sequel. Alright, here we go. This is cool. Grant says Mosquito Man. Hey, draw it, move to Japan, and then send it to Capcom. And it might be, he might appear in Mega Man 12. Cause yeah, Mega Man 11 is coming out this year. It's crazy. I've gotten a few requests to stream it. I don't know if I would review it. I will definitely stream it. We got a few new people here. Guys, don't be shy. Say something. Grant says Particle Man's alright. Is that a new boss, or are you pulling my leg? Sometimes it's very hard to tell with you. Particle Man, his power is doing things that a particle can. Okay. You're teasing me, that's it. So when I do these stages, I usually get the rush power up first, because I find the three-way shot to be very useful for dealing with the smaller enemies. These segments are very neat overall. Grant says, "What's he like? It's not important." I don't understand the slightest. Unless you're talking about Particle Man. Crap. If I'm correct, there's one more shooting segment in this stage. Grant says, "I heard the dev team don't know if he's a dot or a spec." I see, you're playing mind games with me now. By the way, guys, I don't know if this is the best place or best time to announce this. Mr. Top 10 List, aka Bradley, was nice enough to buy me plane tickets and fly me into a studio and we're gonna be broadcasting from his studio in a week or so. I'll send you guys more information personally when I can. And yeah, the checks have cleared and everything. So I think the current vague strategy is to do some things on his channel and do some things on our channel. But you didn't hear that from me. I don't know why I just thought of that right now. No, there is no other segment. There is another shooting segment later in this game. Not in this stage. We're almost done with this stage. Anyway, Tengu Man. For a regular boss, I always thought this guy's moves seemed pretty rough. Yeah, by rough, I mean aggressive. Grant says, I just realized Make Amends design looks like it's part of the Burger King Kids Club. I'm assuming you mean Mega Man's and there was some kind of autocorrect. Well, Mega Man was part of the 80s. Nothing will be more dated than Kid Vid's design. Also known as Dippy Fresh to anybody who's watched Gravity Falls here. I love that reference to the Burger King Kids Club. Grant says Mr. Top 10 Studios LLC. Thank you for the clarification. So it's a studio and a company, like Universal Studios. Cool. Is it a theme park like Universal Studios?
Here you go. Here you go.
Oh man, that's not good. Yeah, that. I've always thought some of these moves were pretty aggressive. But I'll get him. No. Oh, okay. Oh, not this time. Riley says we have a rocking chair. It's kind of like a ride. All right. Grant says congratulations.
It's just a kid. Don't make me.
I don't know what you mean. Oh right, because me and Bradley are gonna hang out. Yeah, it'll be cool.
Tornado, no way. Tornado hold.
Bradley says we're not actually an LLC. It's a tongue-in-cheek joke. Oh no! Oh, it's bad. I feel like I should be doing so much better today, guys. Oh well, we got a cool transition shot.
Ready.
So if you're not an LLC, that means that you are totally liable for certain things. I'll have to remember that. I just noticed that this battleship's a big bird. Not big bird, but a big green bird. Or maybe it's a Kappa. I'm not sure. Kappa Mikey. So the Mega Man partner I have here is Otto. He was introduced in Mega Man 7. He supplies Mega Man with parts and items when you collect bolts. But here he's essentially a power-up for the flying segments. There's Beat for Mega Man 5, and also 6 and 7. And, well, he left. Now, on a random note, if I'm correct, in the Sega Saturn version, this music is different. That was unnecessarily risky. At least I lost a life near a checkpoint. Eesh. There we go. So I will be streaming at least 2 more times before I leave for the film studio. I was thinking of streaming to Xbox. What other stuff would you guys like to see me do? I was thinking about... it would be neat if I could complete this. I'm not sure if I want to commit to that just yet. It would be neat if I could complete this in stream.
Are you
I was
worthy of
also
my
thinking
talent?
possibly X Legacy Collection and Atari Flashbacks. Possibly as a warm-up show. Because I didn't get to show X Legacy Collection as much as I would have liked to.
Tornado hold. Here you go. Here you go. Tornado. Tornado hold. Get this. Feel my power. Tornado hold. Get this. Feel my power. Here you go.
That's not good. Sorry.
Ready.
Okay, sorry about that. I really just felt dehydrated there for a moment. But yeah, Graham, I'm assuming the congratulations is a reference to my trip. I'm sure I'll have fun. I don't doubt it for a moment.
Are you worthy
Let's
of my
just
challenge?
beat this jerk. Sorry for the salty language. I'm just kidding, I'm not sorry.
Here you go.
So let's see, I'll change topics because this is my show. I'll do whatever I want. If anybody's been following Smash Brothers Ultimate, I'm really impressed with how the roster's coming out. Like, unfortunately, I think I'm just a little bit too jaded to really be impressed by Simon Belmont being in the game. But I'm a huge Castlevania fan. I'm really happy he's in the game. He's definitely somebody I would have liked to have seen. And I mean, if you asked me that 10 years ago, I would have said that's not possible. But the landscape has changed, and Tengu Man is no more. It's cool how things are different, and I'm actually pretty excited that Richter Belmont is his clone, because I think I like Richter a little bit better than Simon, even though Simon is the face of the franchise. So that's cool. Now just one more to go. Clown Man. As far as I'm concerned, Clown Man does not sound like a man. And this stage has some very nice sight gags, but overall I find some of the sound effects pretty annoying. Like right there, that's a gag. And here we get to see some toy versions of past Mega Man robots. Showing you that the developers always have a sense of humor, even when you don't think they do. Like, the Pumpkinhead is a sub-boss for Mega Man 7 in the background. There we go. Yeah, those trains that make obnoxious sound effects. Down he goes. And here, I don't know the name of this item. I think it's called Rush Surprise. I could be wrong. This is when Rush randomly gives you an item. Sometimes it's nothing. Sometimes it fully heals you. Sometimes it's just a little thing. It's random. It's a surprise. play Mega Man in base, these little guys reappear in Pirate Man stage. Because a lot of sprites from this game were reused in Mega Man in base. I think I'm gonna have to come back later to get that bolt. But really, as long as I have the laser shot, which I don't think I equipped, not smart. I think aside from the laser shot and the arrow shot, I'm not gonna need much else. Oh, that's bad. I'm surprised I remember that after all these years. And then he just gets piled on. Alright, here's Clownman in his silly voice, and some of his comments are a little creepy.
Weakling, this isn't a joking matter. What? What are you doing? Mom, ouch! What have you done to Thunderclaw? Ouch! Thunder Carnival! Ouch! What? What are you doing? Ouch! What have you done to me? Thunder Carnival! What are you doing? Ouch! What? Ouch! Ouch! What? Ouch!
And today's the day the clown cried. I couldn't think of any other clown-related puns. No more clowning around. No more clowning around. I have no idea what I'm going for there. And I'm not sure what electric powers have to do with a clown, but there we go. And now we're at the 1/3 point of the game, the first trimester. And the first trimester. Am I comparing Mega Man to a pregnancy?
Dr. Light, how's it going? Will he be okay?
I'll let you guys enjoy the cartoons.
I'm almost finished. The battery will be charged in 10 minutes.
That's good. By the way, what do you make of these?
These seems to be energy resources. But I've never seen this type on Earth. I don't know where this energy came from, but we cannot let it fall into Dr. Wily's hands. You must recover all the energy immediately, Mega Man.
But where is Dr. Wily?
That's a good question. We may be able to locate another energy emission from the radar room. When we find that meteor, we'll find Dr. Wily. go after him. We don't know who he is, and it's dangerous to leave him alone.
Yes, sir. Let's go, Rush.
I probably should have just muted my mic. Okay, so we're at the what's the we're 1/3 into the game. What's the term for that? We're 1/3 done. We're 33% done. Just kept things quiet so you can enjoy the cartoons. One of my favorite things is that when Dr. Light, the Elmer Fudd sounding Dr. Light, he says, "You must find all the evil energy immediately." Ooh, Mega Man. I mean, it just they kept a blooper in the game. It's so bad. It's like plumbers wear ties, but it's Mega Man. Anyway, according to the world map, we're in Saudi Arabia now. So just to show you how multicultural this game is. Now that we have Tornado Hold, which a lot of times when I run this game, I usually get that first. Well, we can do this now. Which can make accessing certain parts a lot easier. Then Thunderclaw here. So if you're not familiar with this game, the robot who woke up from the beginning and in the cutscenes, he's on the right of the border. His name is Duo. And we frankly never learned much about him. This is his only major appearance. He's also in one of the arcade games. I mean, he seems alright, we just don't really know that much about him. And now it's time to fight him. Who are you? Don't try to stop me from completing my mission. To the point. Ugh. Oh well. At least we have a convenient checkpoint.
Ready.
And that's all there is to it. It doesn't look like Duo took much damage. This is a bit baffling. I feel a strong sense of justice within you. Duo would have killed Mega Man, but Mega Man barely scratches Duo and things are okay. It's just very odd and troubling. Robot was holding back. He didn't fight me with everything he had. Yeah, here's a script issue. I mean, I did die earlier. That time he wasn't holding back. But in alternate realities, he is, in fact, capable of not holding back. Anyway, we're gonna get a silly cartoon now, revealing Dr. Wily's insidious oil plot.
That must be it over there. I can see it.
I'm impressed. I didn't think you'd make it this far, Mega Man. However, I don't have time to deal with you. Say goodnight.
Rush!
Are you okay?
Who are you?
My name is Duo. I was born with the sole purpose to eliminate the evil energy from this universe.
Duo, that thing. It's just like the one I gave to Dr. Light.
Yes, this is what you people call evil energy. Based on my studies so far, the one who obtained the original energy must be a being of complete evil. This type of energy absorbs the evil in a person's mind and then multiplies. Judging by the quick rate of its growth, it'll take over the planet with evil energy in a matter of days. We must stop it. I sense the original energy exists in that tower. But the barrier prohibits me from going there. I'll destroy the rest of the evil energy that has spread throughout the Earth. You search and destroy the energy sources for that barrier.
Let's do it. Time to go, Rush.
Just keeping silent during the cartoons. Okay, we're a little bit more than 1/3 done with the game. Would you like to see me try and do another stage, or would now be a good off point? Because this is just about as long as I thought I would do this for. I don't want to overstay my welcome. I think I got a decent energy here. What would you guys like to see? Would you like to see me try one more stage, or what? What are we going to attempt here? Bradley says up to me. Let me see what other parts I could get.
Welcome back.
Yeah, arrow shot. That's good.
Right on. Good luck, Mega Man.
What stage do I usually do next? could do either Aquaman or Swordman. I think I'll go with Aquaman. No, we're almost done with summer. Want to get the summer imagery in there. Also, I wonder if DC's lawyers ever caught on to this guy's name.
Let's do it! I'm Aquaman.
Always funny.
Ready.
The stage primarily takes place underwater. Duh. And you get a nice opportunity to try out the swimming mechanic. Which I think this is the first Mega Man game where you can actually swim. Not even Mega Man X can swim. The grenade is very useful on the sub-bosses. My best showing, but I did beat him. There's the Rush healing power-up. Now, this is the Legacy Collection version of Mega Man 2. If you play the PlayStation, or really any release before Legacy Collection, that would have had a red cross on that. It does not in this collection because Red Cross took issue with video games using their logos to represent health. And games are getting their red crosses digitally erased from them. If you ever played Earthbound, this was actually an issue. I was really surprised that they kept it in the PlayStation Network version of Mega Man 8, because in PlayStation Network, Sony is insistent that the source code remains unaltered. If the source code has to be altered, they're not going to re-release the ISO. Sometimes for these collections, certain changes have to be made. And I think it's, I mean, real world issues take precedence over video games, ultimately. Let's see, Bradley says, Skullgirls had to change Valentine's red crosses to pink crosses. I mean, it seems kind of silly initially, but, you know, the Red Cross does good work. I've donated to them. I can understand why they wouldn't want to be associated with video game violence. I don't have Aquaman's weakness, but none of the robot masters are too tough in this game. Without them, Clownman and Frostman are a little bit tricky for sure. I have a feeling I can do it. I got the healing. Silly. Actually, when Aquaman was in the Mega Man cartoon that was on Kids WB, what was it, Mega Man NT Warrior, based on Battle Network, I know that they had to change his name because of legal issues with with DC. Alright, I'm gonna need that healing. Calling DC Comics DLC, that's a weird Freudian slip. Down. Alright, well, we're down to 2 people. When I get the opportunity to save, I think I'll call it quits. This was a good stream, but I don't want to overstay the welcome and have it on if nobody really cares. But I have a good vibe from this, and I'll continue it either tomorrow or Saturday. Maybe tomorrow. But I think I need to go have a late dinner, get some errands done, and then go back to work on my next video project. So we'll leave it at that. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys later.